amazing how quickly it's gone, and you're always excited. There's apprehension. There's just always a lot of unknowns, but really looking forward to getting things going. It's something we've been working on. With the returning guys, been working hard since January. With some of the recruits, it's been a year, so it's an exciting time. Tomorrow will be the first time we've gotten to see people play with New Mexico across their chest, and really excited about this team.
You lost a lot of bodies and firepower. How do you replace those this year?
It's an interesting one, and it was a real learning experience last year, and I think something that I've always taken a great deal of pride in our program, and our teams have taken pride, is that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And I thought last year the parts were incredible, but the whole wasn't better than the sum of the parts, and that was probably the first time in my career that I would say that. So while we've lost some incredible players, I think we have an incredible unity and spirit to this team. And not to take away from the individual talent levels, I think that's significant. Not as much, senior talent, but from what I've been able to see, and just the spirit that started with last January, as we've started preparing for this season, I think that's our strength, that we're all on the same page. The work ethic, the desire, and the caring about each other is first rate. So that's something that I think this team's going to really show when they step on the field.
You talk about having Weehan and Hansen to go along in the mix, like as far as the cover's not there.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be selling ourselves short to say that we didn't have special players. Chris Weehan nominated for the Herman Trophy, one of 30 nominees in the country, so looked at as one of the 30 best players in the country. Nico Hansen's just coming back from camp with the U.S. Olympic team, so he's not hiding from anybody. So those guys have gotten a lot of recognition. Patrick Corey's away as we speak with Jamaica's Olympic team. He's in qualifying. They're in Haiti this week. So 3 guys that have gotten quite a bit of accolades. But I think that the strength of our team is just that kind of core, that group that's maybe not to this point gotten the recognition that they deserve, but excellent players. And I think they're going to be joined by a really talented group of newcomers with pretty incredible experience from all over the world, domestically and overseas. So it's a nice blend of players. From what I've seen, just in terms of the leadership has been shared in terms of responsibility. We have our 2 seniors, and then another group of guys that just have a real passion for this team, have learned painful lessons, from last year, and just really excited to get out there.
You mentioned some unknowns, Jeremy. You said there are unknowns every year. What would be a couple from going into this year that you think are going to be key for this team?
I think we have some guys that are going to have a breakout season. I think starting from the back, I think our goalkeeping is just going to be that much more experienced. Last year was a rocky one, and just really happy with the keepers we have right now, and just their work rate and the effort they put in over the summer clearly shows, just when you see them, how they carry themselves, the confidence about them. And then we have 2, veteran central defenders, Chris Goulet and Nick Rachowski. They put it in this summer. Rachowski probably made one of the most dramatic kind of changes physically than of anybody we've played. I think he identified what he needed to do as a player. He's probably carrying a little bit too much muscle, just too much mass, and he's really leaned up, just very mobile. And then we have, 2 seniors in the center midfield, Adrian Moro Delgado, who didn't play last year, coming off a knee. He's back in a leadership role, and he's a pretty special player for us. I thought prior to getting hurt 2 years ago, he was maybe our best player in the preseason. So he's back, full speed, playing well. Josh Dye, a 5th-year senior, had a great year for us last year in the midfield. expect to see that again, and he brings leadership. So, you know, when you start saying just when you talk about the spine of the team, very strong, and then you say you have Nico Hansen and Chris Wehan, however we decide to play them, I think we're really strong and mature up the middle, and then just some exciting guys in wide areas, dynamic players.
You talk about the schedule. You guys weren't messing around with Akron and UCLA pretty early.
No, you know, the goal here is to play the best schedule you can, and you're limited geographically on who's willing to play you home and away. But, you know, we'll be tested right off the bat, regular season. You know, we open up at UCLA, I think in quite a few polls they're ranked #1. So that's going to be a great test. And then we come home and we got San Diego and Santa Barbara, you know, 2 kind of perennial NCAA tournament teams. And then we head on the road and play 2 big teams in California, Northridge and Loyola Marymount. So we'll get a taste of it early on and see where we stand. But this is a team that wants to compete. And they're going to get it right off the bat.
Coach, everywhere you look on sports television right now, we're inundated with soccer. I mean, the World Cup, Gold Cup, MLS, international play. How is all that, and that's getting popular, how has that popularity impacted the popularity of Lobos soccer?
It's an interesting question. I got to be careful how I answer it, because in my mind, this is the most exciting sport out there. And how do you go and sell that to the public? You know, we're going to market our team. We want people there. We want them to feel it's a big deal. I mean, these are pretty talented players. These are professional level players that we have on our team. Guys that are going to be pros in this country, guys that are going to be pros abroad. And then to look at them and say, hey, last year's team GPA was above 3.5. And these are pretty smart guys. I mean, that to me is who you want representing you if you're a New Mexican. That's who I want wearing New Mexico. Guys that are incredible student athletes, guys that care about the community and are involved in the community, and guys who go out there and regardless of who they're playing, they expect to win and they're competing for a national championship. That's what I'm proud about. And I can look every one of those guys in the eye and know we're all on the same page. So in terms of the popularity of soccer, that's great, but we need people to love this team and know what they represent and who they're playing for, every single one of them. You know, there's a lot of pride out there. And in terms of the athleticism, you know, the quality, the technical ability, the tactical ability, I mean, these guys are pretty phenomenal players. And as you can see, they're representing the United States, representing Jamaica. Adrian Mora Delgado represented Costa Rica. We've got pretty special players. Some of the newcomers, the international guys, they've played for some of the top clubs in the world, you know, top level in Italy, top level in England. You know, these are big players.
Is there any anxiety to get back out there because of how last year ended and you guys weren't accustomed to having a finish like that?
I mean, you know, you constantly say to yourself, you want to put last year behind you. Hopefully you learn from it. But this is a new team. It's a completely new team, just as it is every year. And I think that's something as a coach, as a player, you're focused on this team. And that focus began in January. So it's a tremendous group. And like I said, the past is a learning experience. Whether it was a positive or a negative, you got to learn from it. And that's how you grow. And I think we've all grown. And we're excited to play, to test ourselves, and see what we're about. So that's where I'm at. I'm excited for this season.
What do you think about the talent in Conference USA?
You know, I think the conference is going to be good. It's good every year. You know, people have unique styles. I think we've learned that over the course of 2 years, that you have to be prepared to deal with different styles of play, home and the road, weather. You know, you might be down in Florida playing in 90 degrees and humidity, and then late season, you know, you're in Charlotte or Norfolk, Virginia. So it's pretty neat. And that's a neat thing about soccer. I was thinking about that today, too. And I said it to my wife, you know, whatever it is, 16, 18 weeks, hey, it's hot, sunny today. We're going to be bundled up with jackets and hats playing in snow at some point. So, it's pretty neat just to deal with all those elements. But it's a great conference, but really our focus right now is on preseason. You know, you get to test yourself against preseason opponents and then open the season. So try not to get ahead of ourselves in terms of the schedule.
Coach, did you feel confident, though, that they picked you second in the conference? I know we lost a lot of defensive players. We do have our top 2 scorers. That make you feel good that they picked you second? How do you feel about that?
And different people have different theories on that. And some guys will say, oh, they like to be the underdog. They like to have a chip. You know, on the coaches poll, you got to vote for yourself. And I've put us first. So, yeah, I expect to win the conference.
That was our one vote that we had.
Maybe. Was there only one first-place vote? I didn't look at it. Might have been. But I'm with these guys every day. I'm never going to bet against our guys, ever. You know, I expect to win every game. Doesn't usually work out that way. But what are you going to say? I don't expect to win? You know, and I know our guys, and they expect every time they step on the field, regardless of who we play, they expect to win.
Anything else for Coach?
One last question.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at your team, do you see speed? Do you see power? You know, I remember the team from Notre Dame that won it 2 years ago. We were with you at the Final Four. They were big and fast, team-oriented, and they had a keeper that was out of this world.
Yeah.
When you evaluate your team like that, are you big, fast, powerful? What are you?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, start training tomorrow. I mean, I think we have all those elements. It's how you put them together in the best fashion to be successful, you know, and there's a lot of variables out there. I think the things that stick out to me is just the commitment, the unity, the fitness. It's a fit team, and that they're really good on the ball. And then we have those elements. We have power. We got some big guys that are great in the air. We have some, you know, crafty 1v1 players. It'll be interesting to see how it all comes together, and that's, you know, up to us as a coaching staff. That's up to our players, and I think we have all those aspects that you brought up. So I think different games, you'll see different things.
I think we've got a pretty great team this year. I think, you know, coming off last year and getting to this past spring, we worked really hard, and we've gotten some great players. It seems like we've become more mentally tough, more unified, and I think that's what we want to. That's how we want to represent ourselves.
The way last season ended, what does that do for the team this year, mentally?
I think mentally it just motivates us. We have something that's, you know, a chip on our shoulder and something to think about that gives us more inspiration to be better this year.
You're one of only 2 seniors on this squad, so do you have to take more of a responsibility than maybe other years for seniors?
Definitely. I think Coach has talked a lot about us, with us, you know, being, you know, we're the 2 seniors, so we need to be running things and be leaders on this team, and that's something that's in some ways it's new to me, and, you know, dealing with other players, other teammates, and thinking more in that mindset that I'm not just taking care of my own things, and I'm thinking about the team and putting the team first.
So have you, being from Albuquerque, are you really glad that you obviously stayed here to play for UNM and got that lucky chance to be able to do that?
Absolutely. I mean, I grew up watching the Lobos play. I went to the camps. I was a part of all of those things when I was a kid, and I wanted to come here. I wanted to play here, and I feel really fortunate to be here and playing for this team.
What are your goals for your last season? I mean, does it feel like it's gone by really fast, and what's left to accomplish as a Lobo?
That's a good question. It has gone by fast. You know, this is my 5th season, and it's gone by longer than some of those that have gone 4 seasons. But even that, it's gone by quickly, and I'm excited for the opportunity to see how well we do and take this team as far as we can, get home games in the tournament, and have a great season. That's my goal.
You like this schedule?
Obviously.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you guys go first.
How you like the schedule starting with UCLA?
It's really exciting. I think we're all pretty motivated for that game, and I think the schedule couldn't be any better for us.
Obviously, you're one of the top college teams in the country year after year. You've been in this program a while. Just an evaluation on how you're coached and how tough it is, the atmosphere, environment. What kind of price do you have to pay physically, mentally, spiritually to be a Lobo?
That's another good question. I think we work hard here, and it's taxing, but I think we have the best in the country. I think we have the best facilities, the best coaches. We have a top environment, and I think we don't see it as much of a tax as more of an opportunity for us, and I think we just all enjoy that.
Are you tired when you leave practice every day?
Some days are pretty tiring.
Anything else for Josh? Okay.
Oh, it's great. I mean, these past 2 years, it's no secret, they've been pretty tough for me. First year because of an injury, second year I had to sit out, and even though I've had the chance to be training with the team and being around the guys, it's just hard not to, get the reward of actually playing games and just be training, So yeah, I know it's awesome just to be back, and just excited to play this season, my last season. Been around for almost 4.5 years, and just finishing up on a good note. That's all I want to do, honestly. And yeah, no, it's such a blessing to be back, and I'll make the best out of it.
Having that kind of adversity, what did it do for you mentally as far as making you desire the game more?
Well, I definitely learned from it. I mean, being injured, being through pain, being through, ups and downs, it just made me a better person overall, not just a soccer player, but just a better person. I learned to be patient. I learned to just, stay positive even when things don't go your way. And it's always a good lesson, when you're down there, that's where you learn the most. And I think I definitely learned from it, and I'll try to apply everything that I've gone through, and hopefully help this team go far in the tournament.
Do you think those 2 years will be a disadvantage physically this season, or do you think you're ready for it?
I think I'm ready. I mean, as I said before, I was ready for last season. Unfortunately, I had to sit out, but this past year I've been training with the team. I've been getting stronger. I had the opportunity to play this summer, so I think I'm ready to go. I feel fit. I feel strong, and yeah, the injury is no longer there. I way past that, and I think I'm ready to go for this season.
So if it was 2 years ago you sat out because of injury, and you said you were better, or you were ready last year type deal, but had to sit out, why was he missed last year?
There were some issues. There was some misunderstanding with the process. I came as a transfer student from Costa Rica, and there was, I don't know, on the process there were some discrepancies, and yeah, this is an NCAA decision, and of course you have to respect it, and that's what I did. We did everything that was told to us, and we just respected that decision. Even though we didn't think it was absolutely fair, we just had to stick with it. And I knew I wasn't gonna get out of this program that way, so I decided to stay one more year, and I don't regret it at all. I definitely want to finish this on a good note, and hopefully having a great season.
Considering what the team lost, that now a lot of that still kind of relies on you to do it again this year?
I think there's pressure for everybody as a player, but do I feel the pressure per se? Yes and no. I'm definitely excited about the season. but I'll just look forward to seeing what I can do, seeing what the team can do as a whole, and look very much forward to it.
How important is leadership is always important, but how much more important is it, like being one of the returning guys, one of the guys who help make a big contribution with so much new mix coming in? How much more does your role expand?
It expands as you get older, of course. I mean, you look at the guys that are fifth years; they get those different roles, and they have that opportunity that they have to do and deal with. I think with the new guys, they come in and they always do well in that sense, and you do have some leadership roles that you have to deal with, but it's an easy job. It's not hard with this team. The coaches do a great job of recruiting, and it's an easy job. Honestly, you just have to help the guys along for a couple things, and then after that, it's a breeze.
Are you vocal or lead by example?
Yes, both. I would say both.
What was that experience like? I mean, this past summer, getting to be with the U.S. group and whatnot.
Last summer I was with the U23 Sounders. I was with the camp just last week. So if that's what you're asking about, okay. The camp was nice. It was a great opportunity. It was my first time with a national team thing. It was good to see. It was the highest level of the college players that were invited to the camp, and it was really good to see that level and all the players that were there, and see how you mix in with them, and even comparing some of our players with the players that were there. I mean, we have an awesome group, and I'm so excited to see what we have to offer this year.
Did you walk away? What did you learn? And you say you're excited to see your group because you could gauge how your guys are. What did you walk away learning as far as picking up more skills?
I learned a lot. It was a short camp as opposed to usually camps are about a week, 2 weeks, and 3 days is quick. It went by really quickly. Well, I learned a lot as far as taking your opportunities, and there's a lot to a game when you only have 90 minutes to play. That's even shorter than 3 days, of course. But as far as our players and comparing it to them, and seeing how our team plays compared to these players that were there, and I think what you're kind of asking was for the gauging. I think that we as a team, we do really well, and we train really hard, and we all here, and we really have a really good sense of the team as a whole and being team first. And I think that's going to be a big part of us as a team, and that we're all together, and we have great players, unbelievable players that we have this year, and that are returning, and new guys that are going to step up, and I think it'll be really good.
Is there a national or international player that you like to watch for whatever reasons, who you may emulate out there on purpose, or just because you want to play like that star? Who might be those stars or stars?
My favorite player always growing up was Ronaldinho. He's always been a big part of when I was growing up, and lately I would say some of the bigger players. Of course, I try to emulate forwards. That's where I play here. But I think one of the bigger players that I've seen lately is Hazard, Eden Hazard, and I think he's an awesome player. The way he plays is unbelievable, and he steps up for that team, this top caliber team. I mean, they're always up there, Champions League, top of the Premier League, and I think he is a player, is one of the guys that I really look up to.
Anything else for Nico?
Yeah, ask Nico, being one of the returning guys, does that put more pressure on yourself to have another year like you did last year, considering what the program was?
I don't think it puts pressure on myself. Ever since the season ended, it wasn't about putting pressure on myself. It was disappointing. I'm not going to say it wasn't disappointing. We didn't lose anything from the guys that left. We lost great teammates, great personalities, good guys on the field. We're a new team. That's the simple matter of fact. I've been here for 3 years now, and every year I was kind of thinking on the way here, I was like, I've been a part of 3 different teams, and I'm going into my 4th different team. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I learned from this year, not about putting pressure on myself, but more of like, can I be a leader for this new team so that we can be successful? That's kind of how I've put it on myself.
How excited are you about going into this 4th year with the new match of guys and stuff like
Oh, I'm excited as ever. This summer was longer for me because I took some time off. I didn't play with the team. I took some time to myself, spent time with family, and I was like, this was the summer I spent like itching the most to get back on the field, which is what I wanted to do, which is the most exciting for me. So.
It's like a recharge.
Yeah, I recharged my batteries. I'm ready to go. I feel excited as ever going into this season.
How disappointing was that last year? You made the comment the way it finished. You said, you're not going to say it wasn't disappointing, but how much does that stick with you and use as a motivation factor for the season?
Yeah, the one thing that stuck with me the most was that it was a great team that couldn't keep playing. So, I mean, we should have played more games. We thought that way. We did it to ourselves. The saddest part was that, man, some of my best friends that I've had for 3 years were not going to be able to play together anymore. And in my mind, that team was a team that could have gone really far, and we didn't. That was the most disappointing thing.
How about also the accolades, like the Mac Herman Trophy and stuff like that? Do you ever think about all that stuff, or do you just kind of like put it away and see what happens?
It's an honor. Like, it's a great award, but to me, it's the beginning of the season. So it's not something I'm like, oh, I need to like keep that on the top of my mind. I'm thankful for it. I'm grateful. It's a great honor, but I put it in my back pocket, and I'm ready to play this season. So.
And the schedule? Could you comment on the schedule?
I couldn't be more excited for our opening game. Going back home a little bit, back to California. Should have a ton of family there. I'm excited for that. But I'm more excited for Air Force. First exhibition game, it's our first test. Our test to prove to everyone what this new team is about. So that's what we're most excited for.
Why is Lobos soccer around the country in college soccer, why is it so highly respected?
We're so highly respected because of what we do on the field every year. Not only that, we have one of the best GPAs in the country, I think. We have a sense of community around us that not every team in the country can relate to. We take it upon ourselves to respect the community that gives back to us. On top of that, it shows with the way how far we've gone in the last few years. That's why we're one of the best programs in the country.
Anything else for Chris?
With you and Nico being pre-conference, all-conference, and then you being the leading scorer, do you have a special feeling this year to do a little bit even more than last year, since your seasons are always so good, but it's your last year, you have years in, and so how do you feel about finishing this last year up? Because you have been so successful.
Lucky for me, it's not my last year. I got 2 more seasons to go. So I redshirted my freshman year. No, that's all right. But just like the Mac Herman stuff, it's something that goes in my back pocket. It's an honor, but it's a new season. So I'm excited as ever to get back on the field. I don't look at that stuff as like a pressure or anything. It's an honor to be on that conference list, but at the same time, there could be 11 new names on that list at the end of the season. And it's my job, it's Nico's job, it's the team's job to get back on that list and to be the team that wins the conference.